Get your daily news fix from newsworthy's latest edition, 16 April 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more.
Harvard has decided not to engage in negotiations with Trump regarding its autonomy, asserting that it will challenge the demands made by the Trump administration. Trump has issued a threat to Harvard's tax-exempt status, following the suspension of $2 billion in funding. Columbia has pledged to refuse any agreement with Trump that compromises its independence. Cornell has initiated a lawsuit against the Department of Education, claiming that the reduction in indirect costs for research grants is unlawful.
Zoo elephants at the San Diego Zoo were startled by an earthquake and quickly formed a protective circle around their calves. 100 years after its initial discovery, scientists have successfully recorded the first confirmed video of a massive squid in the ocean's depths. Research indicates that elderly individuals who regularly use smartphones experience a reduced rate of cognitive decline. Excessive use of CT scans in the United States may lead to an additional 100,000 cases of cancer that could have been avoided.
During his visit to Hanoi, Chinese President Xi Jinping and Vietnamese officials signed several agreements amidst ongoing tensions with the United States over tariffs. U.S. President Donald Trump suggested that China's discussions with Vietnam might be aimed at undermining the United States. China's President Xi Jinping and Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim engaged in private discussions as Beijing seeks to strengthen ties with its neighboring countries. In response to the escalating U.S. tariff conflict, China has appointed a new trade representative. The United Kingdom's highest court has ruled that the term woman specifically denotes an individual who is biologically female at birth. In the UK, librarians are facing more requests to remove books, a trend attributed to the growing influence of pressure groups from the United States. A report from the UK highlights that outdated legislation has hindered efforts to combat misinformation in the context of anti-immigrant violence. The European Union has provided its employees traveling to the United States with disposable phones due to concerns about potential espionage. In Taiwan, the ruling political party has dismissed a former aide to the foreign minister following suspicions of connections to Chinese espionage activities. Reuters has announced that Dan Caldwell, a top advisor to Hegseth, has been placed on leave as part of an investigation into a leak at the Pentagon.
Insurance company Lemonade has reported that a malfunction in their application programming interface, API, inadvertently revealed some drivers' license numbers. Hertz has announced that a data breach resulted in the theft of customers' personal information and driver's licenses. Chinese robot Axis are equipped with government-mandated black boxes and are nearing the quality standards observed in the United States. China has accused the United States of initiating sophisticated cyber attacks and has identified individuals allegedly associated with the National Security Agency, NSA, as being involved. The Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures, CV, program, which is responsible for monitoring security vulnerabilities, is facing the imminent loss of federal funding, causing significant concern within the cybersecurity community as the program prepares to cease operations. The White House is planning to request Congress to reduce funding by $9 billion, which includes cuts to NPR, PBS, and USAID.
According to the CDC, the prevalence of autism in the United States has increased to affect 1 out of every 31 school-aged children. In Japan, the year 2024 witnessed an unprecedented decline in population, as individuals prioritized financial stability over marriage. The European Commission has granted approval for the use of Leqembi, a medication designed to treat early-stage Alzheimer's disease. A Palestinian activist who was anticipating a U.S. citizenship interview was unexpectedly detained by ICE in Vermont. Hamas has declined an Israeli ceasefire proposal that included disarmament, according to a Palestinian official. The Israeli defense minister has stated that Israeli troops will continue to be stationed in Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria for an indefinite period. In a related development, Meta has removed over 90,000 posts at the request of Israel, targeting pro-Palestinian content. OpenAI is contemplating the launch of its own social media platform to rival Elon Musk's X. Counterpoint has released a report indicating that the global smartphone market experienced a 3% growth in the first quarter of 2025, although the future remains uncertain. Apple has secured the top position in the smartphone market for the first time in Q1. In other news, India aims to add 300 million new users to its UPI payments platform.
The Vatican has initiated the process for the canonization of Antoni Gaudí, known as God's Architect. In Peru, a court has handed down a 15-year sentence to former President Ollanta Humala and his wife for their involvement in money laundering. France has expelled 12 Algerian officials amid escalating tensions over a suspected kidnapping. This follows Algeria's decision to expel 12 French embassy officials 2 days ago, after Algeria summoned its ambassador following France's indictment of a consular official in connection with a dissident's abduction.
OKX, a cryptocurrency exchange, has resumed operations in the United States, just 2 months following a $500 million settlement with the Department of Justice. Kraken has announced a gradual introduction of trading services for U.S. stocks and exchange-traded funds, alongside its intentions to expand into the United Kingdom and Europe. Apple has blocked the applications of KuCoin MEXC and 12 other cryptocurrency exchanges in South Korea. According to Reuters, industry experts estimate that U.S. tariffs could impose a financial burden exceeding $1 billion on manufacturers of chip equipment. Nikkei highlights that the potential imposition of chip tariffs by Trump is causing significant disruptions to the global supply chain. Goldman Sachs warns that an extreme decoupling between the U.S. and China could lead to a substantial loss of $2.5 trillion in equity and a sell-off in bonds. Furthermore, the Financial Times reports that a high-ranking official from Donald Trump's administration has urged Europe to make a choice between adopting U.S. or Chinese communications technology. Google Search is set to implement a single domain for users globally in the near future. Apple has decided to rebrand its search ads business, now calling it Apple Ads. Furthermore, it has been reported that global advertising expenditure directed towards news outlets has decreased by approximately 1/3 since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Figma has discreetly submitted its application for a highly anticipated initial public offering in the United States following the breakdown of a $20 billion acquisition deal with Adobe. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Netflix is setting its sights on achieving a market valuation of $1 trillion. The Chinese artificial intelligence company Zhipu is considering filing for an initial public offering this year, inspired by the recent success of DeepSeek.
An elite unit within the Pentagon has collectively resigned following a conflict with DOJ. A report from the Washington Post suggests that DOJ is gathering federal information to expel immigrants from their housing and employment. The Atlantic has remarked that DOJ is transforming the IRS into a tip jar for public services, with a memo indicating that the IRS might reduce its workforce by up to 40%. The There are concerns that Musk's Doge might have been responsible for a significant cyber breach at the U.S. labor watchdog.
Japan has instructed Google to cease mandating that phone manufacturers include certain applications. A new feature in Android will automatically restart the device if it stays locked for a period of 3 days. Furthermore, Google DeepMind is currently seeking to employ a research scientist who specializes in the field of post-AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Chan has been taken offline due to what appears to be a significant hacking incident triggered by a meme conflict. In Japan, 4 individuals have been apprehended in connection with the sale of AI-generated pornography, marking the first legal case of its kind. Burglars have made off with millions of dollars worth of gold and jewels after tunneling into jewelry stores located in downtown Los Angeles.
China's chip traders express frustration over the impact of Trump's tariffs, stating that their efforts are futile as orders plummet. Hong Kong's financial secretary aims to reassure family offices by emphasizing that their capital remains secure. In contrast, China's Digate e-commerce app is reportedly gaining popularity in the U.S. App Store rankings, while Temu has reportedly withdrawn its U.S. Google Shopping advertisements.
A recent study has revealed that the climate crisis has caused the duration of lethal ocean heat waves to increase by a factor of 3. In Iraq, a severe sandstorm has led to the closure of airports and resulted in 3,700 individuals being hospitalized. In Sudan, the European Union and the United Kingdom have committed to providing millions in aid during a conference held in London.
Piracy incidents have surged by almost 35% in the first quarter, primarily due to increased activity in the Singapore Strait. In France, prisons have become targets of what a minister describes as a terrorist attack during an ongoing drug crackdown. The New York City Council has filed a lawsuit against Mayor Adams, challenging his proposal to allow ICE officers to be stationed at Rikers Island. Apple is increasing its production in India and Vietnam, utilizing these countries as tariff-free zones, while Donald Trump has acknowledged that he lowered tariffs to assist Tim Cook. The European Union anticipates that U.S. tariffs will remain in place as negotiations show minimal advancement. The United States has announced that the majority of tomatoes imported from Mexico will be subject to a 21% tariff starting July 14.
Meta announces its plan to restart the process of training artificial intelligence using publicly available content sourced from users in Europe. NVIDIA is set to begin producing AI supercomputers within the United States for the very first time, marking a significant milestone in American manufacturing. Apple is preparing to conduct on-device analysis of user data with the aim of enhancing its artificial intelligence technology.
Michael Wolff implies that the Trump team considered proposing an outdoor show featuring Don Jr. as a strategy for Warner Brothers to gain favor with the White House. The director of Home Alone 2 expresses a desire to remove Trump's cameo from the film, stating, "I just wish it was gone. If I cut it, I'll probably be sent out of the country." Meanwhile, Trump criticizes CBS, suggesting they should lose their broadcasting license following 60 Minutes segments on Ukraine and Greenland, and he urges the FCC chair to impose the maximum fines and penalties. Furthermore, the White House is taking steps to restrict newswire access after the Associated Press won a lawsuit.
Hong Kong's postal service has decided to cease sending packages to the United States, citing what it describes as bullying acts. Additionally, a report indicates that China has instructed its airlines to halt the acceptance of Boeing jet deliveries. Trump's aide, Hassett, has stated that the United States has received amazing offers regarding tariffs and is 100% not facing a recession.
The Wall Street Journal has reported that the United States intends to leverage tariff negotiations as a strategy to isolate China. The Philippines has expressed concerns that a $5.6 billion deal for U.S. fighter jets is in jeopardy due to the tariffs imposed by President Trump. Bloomberg has highlighted that the U.S. economy is expected to suffer significant financial losses, amounting to billions of dollars, as a result of foreign tourists choosing to avoid the country. PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, has ceased its operations in 9 African nations. In the first quarter of 2025, location shoots in Los Angeles decreased by 22% due to fires, although the effect on local filming activities seems to have been only temporary. Hermès has surpassed LVMH to claim the title of the world's most valuable luxury brand.
Trump urges El Salvador's president to construct additional prisons for U.S. citizens, warning that homegrowns are next. Meanwhile, El Salvador's president refuses to send back a man mistakenly deported to the U.S. 2 months prior, Trump halted new civil rights cases and settlements, causing concern among advocates. Additionally, NBC reports that the U.S. government's case against Mahmoud Khalil heavily depends on tabloid stories, as revealed by an evidence review.
The Maldives has decided to prohibit individuals holding Israeli passports from entering the country due to the ongoing conflict in Gaza. In a related development, an Israeli military operation resulted in a strike on a hospital in Gaza, occurring just 2 days after the last major healthcare facility in the region was rendered inoperable. Hamas has reported losing communication with the individuals holding an Israeli-American hostage, who is considered crucial to the proposal for a truce in Gaza.
According to the Financial Times, Friedrich Merz has stated that Germany is prepared to supply Ukraine with Taurus missiles. Donald Trump has criticized both Joe Biden and Volodymyr Zelensky for not managing to avert the conflict in Ukraine. J.D. Vance has expressed optimism about the possibility of a trade agreement between the UK and the US, and he has also remarked that Europe should not remain a permanent security vassal of the United States. NATO has acquired the Palantir AI warfighting Maven software system.
Top songs on YouTube music charts, Global Edition from April 4th to April 10th, 2025. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and Jair Torres. AJ Ki Rat by Madhubanti Bagchi, Divya Kumar, and Sachin.
Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, April 4th to Thursday, April 10th, 2025. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, Ordinary by Alex Warren, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars.
Top-selling digital games on Nintendo US as of April 14, 2025. Minecraft, Hades, Super Mario Party Jamboree, and Stardew Valley.
Discover the most popular games on Steam. Based on the revenue rankings from the top 100 products, covering the period from Tuesday, April 1, 2025, to Tuesday, April 8, 2025. The featured games are Counter-Strike 2, Schedule 1, REPO, and NZOI.
CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. Fortinet has issued an advisory concerning a newly discovered post-exploitation method targeting previously known vulnerabilities. Ivanti has announced security updates to address vulnerabilities in its Connect Secure, Policy Secure, and ZTA gateways, specifically CV 2025-22457.
One more drop in the ocean of AI. Mun Shotai introduces Kimi VLA3B Thinking, a streamlined open-source mixture of experts, Vision Language Model, VLM. This model excels in advanced multimodal reasoning, long context comprehension, and robust agent capabilities. Remarkably, it achieves this with only 2.8 billion parameters in its language decoder. Kimi VLA3B Thinking stands toe-to-toe with state-of-the-art efficient VLMs like GPT-4o Mini, Quinn 2.5 VL7B, and Gemma 312B, and even outperforms GPT-4 in certain specialized areas.